were trying to be entrepreneurs. And we were trying to be what we thought that would look like. This was just at least me. I just constantly felt like a failure.
Yeah.
I went back every time to like, well, God told me to do this. If he told me to do this, then I can put up with so much crap if I'm in the will of God.
Yeah.
And I would just tell myself that all the time.
Most trials don't ruin you. Most trials give you the opportunity to reveal you. And it broke my heart that my family, I wasn't making enough money, in my business to even provide for my family.
There's so much where you're going through it.
Yeah.
And if someone would have told me what that first year was going to be like, I would have been like, Lord, you can keep it. I would have never done it.
My heart starts to pound because I'm like, something's
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah.
All my lights are off. And I go, what is going on? And she said, well, we don't have money. So as soon as you leave the house in the morning, I turn off the main switch. And I light a fire. We have candles. I cook on the wood stove, and we play camping. I said, how long have you been doing that? She said, I don't know, 5 months. Whew. Hi, welcome to Cultural Catalyst, where we teach you how to live fully alive, co-labor with God, and change the world. I'm your host, Kris Vallotton, and today, for the second or third time, actually, I have Ahab Alhindi. How did I do on the last name this time? I thrash it all the time.
You crushed it.
I've known you for 20 years and still can't even pronounce your name.
You say Ahab perfect, so
I know that
I'll
part.
take
That's
it.
in the Bible. He's the bad guy in the Bible, though.
There's only two guys historically that people will recognize with the name Ahab, and they're both insane.
Yeah. Okay, glad you said that. I didn't say that, but you are. In case you didn't catch our first time together, Ahab actually has a franchise store with Chick-fil-A.
Yes, sir.
You've been doing that for how long?
March will be 5 years.
5 years. Wow, time flies.
Yeah, quick.
And you owned several restaurants before that.
Yes, sir.
Private restaurants.
Yeah, my own. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm helping the Chick-fil-A situation.
Yeah,
there.
man, you love those strips, dude.
And you're an author and a leadership coach, and you also lead champions, which now we've changed it to Bethel Business Network, and that's our local business people. I was going to say men, but we got...
No, there's plenty of women there.
We got them both.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So, hey, thanks for being on again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
We're going to talk a little bit about journey because we're really, the goal of this segment today is to really inspire people who are thinking about business or people who are new in business.
Yeah.
And, why did you get in business? Did you ever want to be in business?
My dad, my dad was in business my whole life. But when I was, becoming a man, I was exploring everything. I became a youth pastor. I went to social work, came up here, was still doing social work while I was in Reading, and then started doing itinerant ministry. And I was meeting I had graduated school of ministry. I was meeting some third years, and I walk into a coffee shop, and I felt the Spirit of God just pushing me, like, you need to buy this place. And I'm like, no, like, what? And like, it was terrifying because I was like,
most people just go for coffee. You're in there and you're like, I'm going to buy this organization.
Yeah. And I
was it for sale?
So I went up to the counter, and then the guy says, hey, this is going to be our last week. Sunday we're closing, and we're going to be out. And I was like, can I just get the contact for the owner? And he gave me the owner's email address, and I sent her an email kind of offering her to purchase her company.
Yeah.
And didn't really know what to say. Cause I'd never been in business, and I didn't really ask anybody for help. I was just like, here's this moronic email. And the crazy part is, she said to me, I've had 12 people offer to buy my business, but I've never felt God on it till now.
Wow.
And I was like, oh no. I thought I was just going to be obedient to the Lord and just like at least ask, right? And then she would say no, and then I would be able to move on.
Did you want to be in business?
No, I honestly, I loved what I was doing. I was traveling the world.
That's me too. When I wanted to be in business the whole time. When I was a boy, my grandfather, owned the first service station in Mountain View, California, like the Bay Area, and so I grew up wanting to be in business.
Yeah.
And then I met Bill Johnson, and when I was probably 24, and I'm like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I want to be in the ministry.
Yeah, yeah. And that's how I was too. Like I got saved and I was in Bible college 10 months later. Like I'm like, this is it. That's the direction I'm going. Like I'm just going to pursue God. And then, I told you my story last time about kind of falling away for a season and then this ministry, the Bethel ministry, kind of pulling me back into the grace of God. But like when I walk into that business, I was like, it was terrifying, man. But the Lord had set me up probably a year earlier. I was driving down the road and there was a Domino's pizza delivery car in front of me. And I was on my way home and I can get emotional. The Lord said, hey, if I asked you, would you go back to delivering pizzas? Because I had done it back in my youth. And I'm sitting there like, I start weeping because it felt so real. Like if I said yes, he might ask me to go and pursue that as a career. And I'm like, yeah, God, if you ask me to do anything, I will do it. I will do anything you ask me to do. And he said, okay. And then nothing for a year regarding like anything like that. And then a year later, I walk into a coffee shop and he says, I want you to buy this place. And I had no money, Kris. Like, what am I going to buy it with?
You need money? I never had any money.
I was like, I'm in the ministry. Like, who's got money just sitting around to buy a business?
Kind of journey. Like, I had 5 prophecies in 7 days. Well, 4 of them were prophecies about I'm going to, like, my friend Charlie Harper had a dream that I was going to buy the 76 station in town.
Yeah.
That was the 4th one in 1 week.
Really?
Yeah. And the first one was this prophet came to our church and he said, God's called you to, he's going to give you wisdom, double wisdom for business. Double wisdom for business. The wisdom of God and the wisdom of man. I'm like, well, I don't want to be in business. Then this other guy ends up at our house, an African-American guy, a good friend of mine. His name was Dan. He was a prophet. He stops in the middle of a conversation. We're having a dinner. And he's like, God says, if you go in business, he'll bless you. And I said, this is exactly what I said. I said, well, you tell God I don't want to be in business. And he goes, bro, I'm just telling you what he said. I said, well, tell him what I said. So then we're driving. The last day was a Friday, and we're driving down Charlie's taking me to work. And he's like, hey, I had a dream last night you own 76 station.
Wow.
And I go, bro, I don't want to be in business. What's going on here?
Yeah.
So then that afternoon, like about 3 hours later, the man who owned that business, the 76 station, who I'd never met, didn't know.
Oh, wow.
Called me at work. He's like, hey, I'm selling my business. I think you're supposed to buy it. I'm like, this cannot be happening.
That's crazy.
I did not want to be in business.
Was that guy a believer?
No.
That's wild.
I don't think he still is. I don't know. But yeah, that's how he got business. Then he wanted $9,000 down for the business, and I didn't have any money. My wife's like, Kathy's like, you should call your grandmother. I'm like, no, my grandmother's not very generous. So anyway, after my wife encouraged me in the Lord for 5 days, you know how that goes.
Yeah, I do.
I finally called my grandmother, and I didn't. She wasn't a Christian, so I just, hey, I want to buy a service station. My grandfather's first business was a service station. And I said, I need $9,000. I'm wondering if I could borrow it from you. She said, well, I'll think about it and call you back. So next day she called and she said, I won't loan you the money. I said, oh, that's okay. I was great. I was like, she's like, but I'll give it to you. Just don't tell the other grandkids. So she gave me the money and I got in business and didn't make any money for like 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Dear God.
The first month, we wrecked 3 cars.
Yeah.
My team wrecked 3 cars in 1 month.
Wow.
I know.
That's
I'm
painful.
like, and by the 5th year, my house had been foreclosed on. My cars were repossessed.
Wow.
Middle of winter. And I said to God, God, you said if I open a business, you bless me. He said, you're building a business. I'm building a man.
Yeah.
I'm like, he hoodwinked me into it, man. Why didn't you tell me I was like Joseph going to prison?
Yeah.
That's how I got in.
It really is.
Did
like
you make
that.
a bunch of money when you first started? I'll take that as a no.
We honestly, thank God I own the restaurant because I could feed my wife and my kids.
I know. At least we had gas.
Yeah,
That's about it.
just no car apparently.
Seriously, man. I was working like 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah,
Literally, we didn't make any money the first 9 years.
9 years.
9 years.
We went 2 years with like I don't honestly to this day I still traveled and spoke, and that was really how we survived.
Wow.
We
I spoke 3 times, 4 times a week as a volunteer, but they didn't pay me anything.
I
went to Ruth. You don't even know where Ruth is.
No.
Like nobody does. People, you know where Weaverville is? Like
Yeah.
it's an hour from here, right?
Yeah.
Well, Ruth's 3 hours from Weaverville.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a town of like, I don't know, 80 people.
Like in the mountains?
Like this, the land before time, bro. I spoke there and they gave me an offering. It was my first offering ever.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like $40 and the gas was like 75.
That is how it works.
I'm in the ministry.
Dude, it's honestly like I remember, I interned for Steve Backlund, and he said to me years ago, God's more concerned about developing the man than the ministry.
Yeah.
And he's in business. It's just true. He's just more concerned about developing us.
I just wish you would have told me that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have gone in business.
It's harder to be
You
obedient
go in
if
business,
you know
I'll
too
bless you. Next, I know now to ask more questions.
Is that a financial blessing?
Yeah, exactly. Does it include money? And all these people, they think about Bethel like, he's preaching the prosperity gospel. Bro, there ain't no way I can preach that kind of prosperity gospel because I know where that goes.
Yeah. I was like talking to a guy this morning, and he was, he got a word about going into business, and, God's going to bless you. And I was like, hey, just so you know, that may not mean what you think it
Sometimes
means.
you have to like, don't talk.
Yeah.
I know we get young people all the time. God's called me to be in business, and I'm like, all right. And then I sit with them. No, you do too, right?
all the
And I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, and then they kind of have these, these stars in their eyes, and they're, they're going to make all this money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, should I tell them that it doesn't always work that way?
Yeah.
No, I actually think that.
I do too.
And I say to them, like, hey, are you willing to work like 60, 70, 80 hours a week for less than minimum wage? Because if you're not willing to do that to start, I would not be in business. I want to be my own boss. Oh, bro. Listen, so much easier to please one human than it is to please all these other bosses called customers.
Yeah, they're the real bosses.
Right?
But honestly, I know what you mean by struggling to know whether to say something.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what's inside them until they actually do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because sometimes, I didn't know I can work 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week for free. I didn't know I can pull my wife into that kind of trauma, right? You know what I mean?
You mean encourage her?
Well, she was willing to go into it, but
my wife too. We were partners.
But we worked together side by side, 60, 70, 80 hours a week sometimes. My wife miscarried in the second month of our business being open. And we're just and she miscarried in the bathroom, at the restaurant, it was there's so much where you're going through it.
Yeah.
And if someone would have told me what that first year was going to be like, I would have been like, Lord, you can keep it.
Yeah, you would never done it.
I would have never done it.
Yeah, then you have all the things like, did the pace have something to do with the miscarriage?
Totally.
Your brain.
And you're wondering if it's our fault.
Totally.
Did I do this to my wife?
So stupid that the way the enemy uses that kind of crap.
It was so
you.
painful.
Yeah. Well, I remember the toughest year, or one of the toughest years. It was wintertime, and so part of the reason we didn't make money, the reason we didn't make money, is because we'd have 3 to 4 months of great summer weather, and our population would double in our little town.
Yeah.
So we'd be prosperous, right? And then you go winter, and if winter lasted three months, it pretty much ate the extra profits of the summer.
Oh wow.
But if winter lasted 4 4.5 months. I mean, we had some severe winters.
Yeah.
Like you could shoot a cannon down the road and not hit anybody, right?
Wow.
And what do you do with your team? Because, we had like 7 mechanics.
Wow.
If I let them go, how am I going to get them back?
Yeah.
So, we did our best to try to keep the team. But I remember this one winter, man, it was tough. And I remember it was one of those really extended winters where we had used all of our reserves from summer. And winter was like 4.5 months. And it was like 3.5 feet of snow, 4 feet of snow. And it was cold and it was hard. And I remember one day in the middle of the night, it's like 7 o'clock at night, but it's dark. And I remember hearing something out front. And I run out there and my cars are driving out of the driveway. Both my cars.
Like they're moving.
Yeah. And I call the sheriff. Like, listen, this is in Weaverville. Nobody takes their keys out of their cars. Like everybody leaves their keys in their cars. Literally.
Yeah.
Nobody steals anything. I didn't have a key to my house that I lived in for 17 years.
Wow.
So for someone to steal your cars, like that is like shocking. Where are they going to go? It's Weaverville.
Yeah.
So I call the sheriff, and they go, "Hey, someone's stealing my cars." And of course, I work on all the sheriff's cars, so I know everyone in the department. And the dispatcher goes, "Kris, I'm really sorry. They're not stealing your cars. Your cars have been repossessed."
Wow.
And then the repossessed lot was right next door to my shop on Main Street.
Oh, man.
And there's my 2 cars on Main Street. You talk about humiliation, dude. And then the same month, well, I think the next month, my house went into foreclosure.
Oh.
And the house we built. And the same month, my kids got taken out of the Christian school we started because we couldn't pay the bill.
Wow.
And people were bringing us groceries. And I was like, what am I doing in business?
Yeah.
And I laid on the floor that month. This is the month I laid on the floor and I said, "God, you said if I go in business, you bless me." And I've had 5 Joseph years of prison. And he said, "You're building a business and I'm building a man." And then he said this to me, 10 years from now, this will all make sense. And I was like, oh, my goodness. So that was tough. You had tough times like that too.
Yeah, we've all have, man.
Yeah.
And he's so, like the Lord is so involved and into developing us as men. And we look at these things circumstantially, and we look at them in the seasons that we're in. And sometimes I think my biggest regret over the years was not leaning into the pain a bit more and just allowing God to. I feel like some of those things could have gone quicker if I just leaned into the lesson instead of always trying to come up with a solution.
I truly did not know that I was in school.
Yeah,
no, I mean,
I agree
sincerely.
with that.
Like after that encounter, I knew I'm like, oh, this pain has a purpose.
Yeah.
But it just felt like pain for 5 years and confusion. Because if the Lord says he's going to bless you, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I'm obviously doing something wrong. I can't work any more hours.
Yeah.
We're doing a great job. We have, we have so many customers. It was so confusing to me. I did not understand it. And then after that encounter, I'm like, oh, okay. So then I'm like, okay, submit yourself to the process. And Joseph, actually, in the Old Testament Joseph, I'm actually writing a book right now about Joseph's life. But Joseph became my hero because Joseph loved God, but he ended up in slavery.
Yeah.
Then he ended up in prison.
Yeah.
And before he gets to the palace. And I'm like, okay, so I relate to that. I relate to God, like Joseph gets this vision. He's going to be a dream. He's going to be a great leader. But the very next move is he's freaking in slavery.
Yeah. Gets thrown in the pit.
The total opposite direction that God said he would be. And I'm like, I so related to Joseph. I read the story over and over. I'm like, okay, well, when is this going to end? And if the Lord would have said, hey, this is going to last 6 years and you're done, I would have been, oh, okay, I can do. But I'm like, is this like my life? Right?
Yeah. There is, I remember thinking that at the same time, like just going, like, how long can I do this for?
Totally.
Like, how long can I put my wife through this? Like, that was like like a big concern because I'm like, I had gotten married in
Yeah.
June of 2012. We opened the restaurant February of 2013. We were married 8 months.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, she didn't sign up for this. She didn't know that this is the direction that we were going to, and she didn't marry a businessman. Like she didn't know that we were going to be like in abject poverty, right? Like she didn't know. It's like she thought like, oh, this guy's on the rise. Like look, he's eloquent, he's hardworking,
He's ambitious.
he's ambitious,
Yeah.
and then and the next thing you know, we're just slaving away in a coffee shop, and we're like, oh, like, are you good with this? And and you're around each other all day and never talking,
Kathy's mom has severe epilepsy.
Mm.
So from the time she was like 8 years old, she was taking care of her mom, who would have sometimes 2 and 3 seizures a day.
Wow.
And Kathy's dad was in business. So Kathy was more, I'd say, maybe say, she was more ready.
Mm.
Like she's a little bit war hardened, battle hardened,
Yeah.
battle tested. I remember this is the story. I told the story many times, but it was I don't know if it's the same winter that our cars were repossessed, but it was one of those really tough winters, and I was putting in extra hours, like doing 12-hour days. So I was trying to give my guys like 6 hours a day, and doing my best to kind of cut payroll because things were really tight, without letting them go, without laying them off. And I remember one night it was like 6. So I was getting home like 7. So one night I got all the cars done, and the guys were closing the station at 9 or whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to go home. And so I just went home at 6 o'clock. It was pitch dark though. It's wintertime.
Yeah.
And I come up my hill, and all of my lights in my house are completely off. Very odd.
Yeah.
Because my house was on a hill, so I could see my house from like a half a mile away. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And there's 2 feet of snow on the ground, and our other car's not a 4-wheel drive. So I'm like, there's no way for my wife to get out of the driveway without me going to get her, right?
Wow.
So I'm like, my heart starts to pound because I'm like, something's
wrong. Yeah.
And so I pull up the driveway, and my heart's pounding because I'm like, all my lights are off, and the lights around our houses are all on. So I'm like, okay, we have electricity.
The neighbors'
houses lights are on. So I'm like, we have electricity. That's scary. So I drive up the house, and there's her car, which I figured it had to be. It's pretty much snowed in.
Yeah.
And so now I run to the house, and I go up the stairs to the deck, and I open the door, and I'm like, my heart is now pounding. Like, where's my family? What's happening? And I open the door, and there's 3 little tents made out of blankets in the front room.
Wow.
And the fireplace is going, and there's candles. And I go, hey, what's I'm panicked. I'm like, what's going on? And the kids come, and they're like 3, 5, and 7.
Yeah.
They come running out of the tents, they're like, hi, Dad. Hi, Daddy. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Where's your mom? What's happening? We're playing camping. And I'm like, what the frick? We're playing camping. What? I'm still trying, your adrenaline's pumping, right?
Yeah.
And so my Kathy comes running out of the kitchen. She's like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, it's only 6. Why are you home? I'm like, what? Can you tell me what's going on? She runs past me, and I'm like, what's going on? Can you please tell me what's going on? Because I'm still trying to figure out, like, what is actually going on here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not angry, but I am panicked.
Yeah.
And she opens the front door and goes back out the front door, and I'm following her. She's on the deck, and I'm like, what is going on? And she opens up the electrical box and flips the main switch on, and all the lights come on.
Oh, wow.
And I go, what is going on? And she said, well, we don't have money. So as soon as you leave the house in the morning, I turn off the main switch. And I light a fire. We have candles. I cook on the wood stove, and we play camping. I said, how long have you been doing that? She said, I don't know, 5 months. Whew. My kids learned about marriage and about trials watching their mom from their little tents.
Huh.
Never complained. Never said, "Hey, we should get out of business," or why aren't you bringing home more money here?
Yeah.
Never complained. Didn't even know she was turning the lights off for 5 months. If I hadn't have come home early, probably wouldn't have even known. We'd gone into summer, and
Yeah. It's remarkable, man.
I know. And I think problems they either bond you or they break you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this trial ruined my marriage. Well, there's probably some trials like that. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
Most trials don't ruin you.
Yeah.
Most trials give you the opportunity to reveal you.
Man.
And those were tough times, tough days, man.
Yeah.
Tough conversations. And it broke my heart that my family, I wasn't making enough money in my business to even provide for my family.
Yeah.
You have tough days like that?
Never had my wife turn the power off.
Yeah.
Wish she had sometimes, thinking about it now.
She should have been trained by my wife. She would have turned that power off right now. You've been in those tough situations, though. And what do you do in those situations? Like there's people watching us right now. They're like, oh my gosh, you're telling my story.
Yeah.
And they may not be in business, but they're like, God told me to do this thing. And I got there and it's crap. It's like, if my life is crap.
Yeah.
And what do I do about that?
It's so hard because you've said this before. Like the dogs of doom stand at the doors of destiny.
Totally.
Right. And I've remembered that every time I do something that God has told me to do.
Yeah.
And I'm met with resistance. Let's just call that resistance.
Yeah.
Right? And
Slight resistance.
Slight resistance. And we bought, like my wife and I started buying real estate. And
during the last time? When
Pardon?
you were in that business?
Yeah, when we were in that business. And we were like, well, let's do something. Let's be entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we made decisions based out of trying to be something versus the voice of God.
Yeah.
Like we were trying to be entrepreneurs and we were trying to be what we thought that would look like. And the time, like almost, I remember we bought this house and we're like all excited about it. And then we bought a fourplex and we're like, yeah. Like,
you guys are like flipping houses?
No, we would hold. We would buy and hold. And then
it.
we would pull money out and then buy another one. And,
Got it, yeah.
And we overextended ourselves. And we were at a place where the business was providing an income.
Yeah, enough to at least pay the payments, right?
Yeah. And then we just overextended ourselves and we're like, oh, we're like in too deep. And we're like, we can't hardly breathe. And I look back now and I'm like, I don't think those were God. I don't think that was like, God told me to do this and it went sideways. But there was like, when God told me to go into business and I did it, it was, I'm sitting there 3 months in and the power gets turned off to my restaurant. And I'm like, and it's noon, right?
Yeah, been there 3 times.
And you're just weeping.
And the phone. My business is like 70% phone.
Yeah. And you're just like, what do I, like, and you just constantly, this was just at least me, I just constantly felt like a failure.
Yeah.
And I went back every time to like, well, God told me to do this. If he told me to do this, then I can put up with so much crap if I'm in the will of God.
Yeah.
And I would just tell myself that all the time. Like, okay, if this is what where he wants me, then I can put up with it. But if this isn't like, but I would go back to him all the time. Like, are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And I remember 6 months being
gosh.
into the business, and I'm having like a mental breakdown. I hate going there every day. I told you we miscarried, and I hate being there. And I'm just like praying every day, God, if you don't connect this to eternity, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why you have me doing this. And I don't enjoy it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I'm reading book after book after book, just trying to figure out, like, I don't know what a profit and loss statement is. Like, I don't know anything.
It's so crazy. Sometimes you read these books about business and you find out the guy who wrote it has never been in business. He's got all these ideas about how you should be in business, how business ought to go. And I'm like, that's like, the guy who writes a book on marriage and has never been married.
Yeah,
like,
divorced 7 times.
Yeah, or 7 times failed. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had the same situation. And I think, I was thinking about, it probably took me about 5 years to start to engage God as my partner.
Wow.
Now, I engage him as my partner financially because I've always tithed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, God's my partner and I tithe. And I'm like, oh, I think it's supposed to be deeper than that,
Yeah.
where you're actually leading with the Lord. You're actually tapping into spiritual intelligence.
Yeah.
I remember this one time, I had this young man working for me. This is like year one. I don't know, tough times. It's tight. And I had this dream that he's stealing from me.
Oh, wow.
But he's also the head of my youth group. And his dad's the sheriff of our town.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, well, that's a weird dream. So I bring him in. I'll call him Herb. His name wasn't Herb. And I'm like, he's like 19. I said, hey, man, I had this dream last night that you were stealing from. And he goes, oh, I would never do that. Why would you think that of me? Just like totally shaming me. Like, why would you ever think that of me? And I'm like, oh, man, I'm sorry. Just, So I go home that night and have the dream again.
Same dream.
And I'm like, and this time I have some specifics. Like, I see him selling air filters and oil filters to people, taking the money and putting the old filter back in the box.
Oh, wow.
So I get up early and I go to work and I start opening all of our inventory, and it's full of old air filters.
Oh, no.
So he comes in and I'm like, hey, bro, let's try this again. I'm not asking you now. You're stealing from me. Oh, no, I would never do that. Well, either you're lying or the Lord's lying, and I choose you.
Yeah.
And so finally, after about 20 minutes, he starts crying. He's like, yeah, I did. I said, okay, here's the way this is going to go down. You're going to go get a piece of paper. You're going to write down everything you stole from me for the last 6 months, and you're going to pay it back. And if you write down everything, I'm not going to call your dad, and I'm not going to take you to court. But if you don't write down everything, then you and I are going to have another conversation.
Mm.
So he comes back and he has this piece of paper and it's got like 20 things on it. I'm like, ain't no way you only stole 20 things in 6 months, right? No way. So I pray. I said, okay, I'm going to go pray and ask the Lord if this is the list. And immediately, I don't even get out the door. And the Lord's like, he's lying.
Wow.
So an hour later, I said, come to my office. Go get your dad. So his dad comes, who's a friend of mine, and we sit down. And I said, let's try this again. And I told him the whole thing. And, he's sobbing. And he actually worked for the former owner, stole from him, stole from me.
Oh, wow.
Thousands of dollars. He writes down as much as he could remember. And, of course, he's fired.
Yeah.
And over the next 3 years, he pays it all back.
Wow.
Pays back what he can remember. But I was like, that was the beginning of me like, oh, the Lord's not just my partner. Like, I give him money and he's my partner. Like, he's running the business with me.
He's invested.
He's invested. Yeah. And he's telling me where to invest. He's telling me how to fix the car, which is another story I've told many times. He's telling me who's stealing from me. 3 times I've had guys steal from me. All three times he told me what they were doing, how they were stealing.
Wow.
Yeah. And, all 3 times it caught them. But, I just feel like the Lord wants to do more than like, hey, you're going to be in business and, you're going to grow great character. It's like, no, the Lord wants to be our partner. Like he wants us to be co-reigners together.
Yeah. There's like I've experienced this in my own businesses. Like there was a season where I was just struggling with identity, right? Like I didn't know what a Christian business person was.
Yeah.
Right. And so I started behaving like this is how a Christian business person is supposed to behave.
Did you ever figure that out?
No.
I think I feel better because I thought maybe I missed that lesson.
Well, I think I'm closer to it today.
Yeah.
But I had to strip away so much of what I thought I was supposed to be and then just follow his voice. And then whatever his voice tells me to do, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that's because I've seen a lot of business guys who get into a lot of trouble because they try to be really gracious with all of their team, and they try to be incredibly generous, and because they think because I'm a Christian, my business should look like this.
Yeah.
And they get into so much trouble because they're not taking care of the main thing of the business. Like if your business doesn't make money, then you don't have a business. You have a nonprofit organization.
Yeah. If you want to be in a nonprofit, be in a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Right?
Just go open up a 501c3.
Yeah. And it's not like you're doing things just for money, because then you might as well be a secular business.
Yeah. But it's a part of the equation.
Absolutely.
Like we can't eliminate that part of the equation.
You can't eliminate it for very long.
Yeah. You won't be there long.
Yeah. We had a sign that said, "In God we trust, all others pay cash." And then we had another sign, literally, these two signs were in my office. The other one said, "I'm sorry, we have to charge our friends. Our enemies don't come in here." Because we were a small business, right?
Yeah.
Your friends come in and they're like, and it's funny because your real friends, they're like, "Hey, work on my car, I don't care what it costs," right?
Yeah.
But your kind of pseudo friends, they come in there because they want the best deal.
They want the deal.
I'm like, "You're not my friend, bro.
Yeah.
You're not trying to." Hey, we're going to change subjects real quick.
Okay.
Like, this is part of the reason why you and I started a business network.
Yeah.
We just launched this Bethel Business Network.
Dude.
And
By the way, I'm really excited.
And I am too. And I think, I think about just some of the stories I just told and that you were sharing. And I'm like, I think being in business it's lonely.
It's the loneliest place.
And it's not because there isn't people that love you. It's just they don't get you, right? They don't get you because the average Joe, it's probably like this for police, and it's probably like this for doctors. It's probably like this for politicians.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very specialized. Like we have strange things that happen. You have employees. You have all these government regulations, which we could talk about for another whole session.
Welcome to California.
We have cash issues, cash flow issues, profit issues.
A lot of those other groups, there's almost a fraternity.
There is.
That comes along with being a firefighter, being a police officer, being a politician. In business, a lot of guys feel really competitive with one another. And so they're
kind of peeing on the trees. Sort
of
thing.
And so they don't get this fraternal bond.
Yeah. And
I started a group, just a couple guys. I'm like, you give me wisdom. I'm going to bring my problem. You give me wisdom. You bring your problems out. And we just started praying for each other and started like gathering and just like, let's just do something. Yeah. And that was when everything in my business started turning around.
Yeah.
I started making better decisions. I started seeing God show up more.
I had the same experience.
And it was like, oh, we can be good together. Like, and that's what I think we can do with the Bethel Business Network.
Yeah.
We can bring these guys together.
This man, he was 20 years my senior. His name was Brownie Matheson. He owned Matheson Trucking. And he bought a kind of a cabin house in Weaverville, even though he lived in the Bay. And he started meeting with me. And he's like, why are you making that decision? And why, and that man changed my life.
Yeah.
And those were the years we started making more money. We started, being able to pay our bills. Yeah. And I think that, developing a business community where you have, where business guys and gals can belong. Yeah. Ask questions and just actually sometimes you don't, it's not so much a question. It's just like, I want to run with people who get me. Yeah. I want to run with people that also have known what it's like to pace the floor on Thursday night because Friday morning's payroll. You know,
Yeah.
I want to run with people who understand there's so many government regulations that I just got fined for one that I didn't even know was a regulation.
Didn't even know it existed.
Didn't know existed. I want to run with people who know what it's like to try to be friends with an employee who's not performing well, and what do I do with them? Or you have a slowdown, and I've got to let people go, and what it's like to let someone go, and you close the office door after they leave, and you cry because you know they have a family.
Yeah.
All those things, like these are unique, often to business people.
Yeah.
And you know, to be able to pick up the phone in my life and call Brownie and go, man, I just had to let 2 people go, man, it's winter, I just can't keep them. And he's like, yeah, you know, I've been through that. I had to let 50 people go at one time. You know, it's like, oh, it's just refreshing to talk to somebody who's been through it.
Who gets you.
Who gets you.
Yeah.
And so I just want to invite you guys, those of you who are listening, and you have a business or you want to be in business, we have something called Bethel Business Network. We're going to put the link below so you can check it out. I think we have like 1,700 people signed up for our.
Over 2,000 now.
It's over 2,000 for our masterclass. We call it masterclass.
The Accelerator.
The Accelerator, yeah, that we're doing. What's the dates on that?
It starts January 29th, and it's 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Sorry.
But it's going to be recorded too, so you can get back on and watch it later.
But we will be there live.
Yeah, we'll be there live.
Yeah.
And we're going to do once a week for 4 weeks.
That's right. Yeah.
Just give you a taste and see. And you know, we're just we were just trying to think between the two of us, like, what can we do to kind of, okay, you get a feel for what it's like, get a little bit to know us, and then invite you into. Our goal is to invite you into a business community, a network of
that's
people.
really it.
And we really want to do that. So check the link below. Love to see you in the class. It's not called a class.
Accelerator.
It's a 4-week master class, basically. Ahab's going to teach a couple of sessions. I'm going to teach a couple of sessions. We're going to do some Q&A. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. We'll have some breakout. I think you're going to really like it. And it's all online. We will record it. You know, that's the first thing people ask. So if you missed the date, you can still go back and watch it. So check us out. Ahab, thanks for being on.
I love it, man. I'm excited for the business leaders who are going to come into community.
Me too.
They don't have to be lonely anymore. They don't have to be
not alone anymore.
That's
we should have some kind of song we play after that. Yeah. You're not lonely anymore.
Have you ever considered?
No, don't even say it. God bless you. See you soon.